So this is an introduction to LumaFusion. LumaFusion is a video editor for iOS. Works on iPhones, iPads. Now it costs $29.99, $30. They do provide upgrades, free upgrades. Since I've gotten it, been using it for maybe about a year and a half. They've done 2 different upgrades. They have one getting ready to come out now, so I'll just do a little introduction to it. Now, I have tried different things. I've used Power Director, I've used iMovie, and a couple other programs. Is LumaFusion worth $30? Well, to me, yes. I will show you some of the things you can do with LumaFusion, just in basic editing. So when you first open up LumaFusion, right now I'm using the iPad Air 4, the 2020 version. When you first open it up, there's a couple different ways you can do the layout. So that was one of the first things I like. You can set the layout a couple different ways. The way I have it is that I have all my files over in this area, and then I have my main screen here, and underneath are tracks. So right now I'm in the main screen, so these are the different projects. So I'm doing a couple different projects. So to go into a project, the only thing you have to do is just tap, and it loads up my project. You can see here, those are the different tracks. It does a zoom out. You can pinch the zoom. So that's the whole project right there. On the side here, these are your tracks. You have your main track. Above it are video tracks, video audio tracks, and it does 4K at a high bit rate. What the high bit rate does is keep the quality of it. It just doesn't say 4K. It's 4K with good quality. Underneath where the green is, those are audio tracks, and it's very visual. You can color code different things. So I have that track. I can hit the information. That's the information for the track right here, and I can change the color of it if I want to. See, now down here it's purple. So sometimes I'll do different colors, or I come across a piece of video and I go, ooh, I want to use that for the end of the video. I'll color code it purple. Then that way I know that is going to be the end of the video. Or different. There's like a couple different tricks you can do. These pencils, these allow you to rename different parts. So I can rename this track. So you can hit the pencil, rename. You can add notes. Gives me the track duration. This is pretty much the only editor that I've seen that provides all this information on the go. So let's start a new project. So down here in the corner, I hit that with the plus. That opens up a new project. When you open up a new project, it goes to the default My Project, and we'll call this one Test. Now I can select the frame rate. This is where it really shines. The default frame rate, I can go for 240, 120, 60, and different ones. I've been doing 24 frames. Frame aspect, and this is the aspect ratio, so I can do 16:9, which is landscape, 9:16, which is portrait mode, which is for shorts, Instagram, TikTok. You also have the option for color spaces. Color spaces allow you to get more color. So you have HDR. That's a big difference right there, being able to have that option. So now once you set up all your parameters, you just hit this plus up in the corner, and it actually gives you an option if you want to watch the tutorial, and it will walk you through the different things. So this is the part where it gets real easy to edit. So I'm gonna go back up the photos. I'm going to look at all the videos. These are arranged by time. Now, instead of scrolling all the way down, I can go here. I'm going to put created date, and then I'm going to switch it. So now my oldest videos are at the top. And here's the video. So you just grab it and drag it. Look at it. I can just grab this and drop it into an audio file underneath that main track, and it would just use the audio. Or drop it here and I get the audio and video. This actually does not have any sound to the file. And to show you, so let's grab another file. And this one I know has audio. So when you go to drag it on top, I can either insert it on top of this track, replacing it, or if I drag it and you see the little handles, I can drop it in the front. Now, if you look at the track, you'll see there's lines. Those are actually audio. That's actually the audio wave. So that was one of the second reasons I liked LumaFusion. Editing audio. So when I'm cutting and I'm cutting out the dead air and the ums and all that, I can see it and I can literally cut it out. And how do you cut it out? So this bottom part down here, these are your, let's call them edit tracks. This is the track manipulation kind of thing. So I'm gonna go all the way back to the beginning. So the first one takes me back to the file selection. This is tracks. So this shows the tracks that are available right now. Eyeball is for if you want to see it. Speaker if you want to mute it. The lock locks the track down. And this one shows you your audio levels with sliders. So you got those sliders and then you have your main slider. So now let's edit on the main track. This first button, that's a duplicate. It makes the exact copy of the track, same timeline and everything right on top. All right, so I can do that real quick. There's my undo button, redo button. So I can put it in, take it out real nice and easy. The second button down here with the little lines inside of it, that actually takes the audio from that track. So I take the audio out. The audio waves are still there, but it mutes, it drops the volume to 0. So it basically mutes it. The audio is on the bottom. So I have a separate track for the audio. I can undo, put it right back up there. This next one looks like a chain. That's actually a link. Oh, here's another thing that makes it real easy. I put this track here and now I want to get rid of it. Only thing I have to do is just drag it up to the window and it gets rid of it. Nice and easy. If I want to bring it back, I hit undo. But if I want to get rid of it, just drag it out. It erases it and I can keep going. Next is this pencil. This right down here. This is the edit for that track. Now this is just that video track. You got a couple different settings, a whole nother thing. So the first one is frame and fit. You can crop the picture, do different things. Speed and reverse, that's your timing. You can slow down the track, speed it up, put it in reverse, manipulate the actual audio if there's audio somebody speaking. Next one is your audio, and that allows you to assign the main track, and that will do auto ducking. So when somebody's speaking, the music automatically will duck or go lower. You have your volume, and you have your pan controls, and at the top here you have a couple of audio settings, a processor, distortion, limiters, different things. And then the last one is your color and effects. Color and effects, you have your color adjustments that you can do. You have other special effects like, let's say, chroma key, you can do that. You can actually select the color you want to key. And you do things like that. And these are non-destructive, which means any changes I make don't alter the original file. And one of the benefits, if I make any changes, let's say it's too hard for me to undo, I can just hit delete. I also have the option to just hide that effect and see if I like it or not. That button up at the top brings me right back into the main view. Next is the star. Those are favorites. So within the editing, I can have different favorites for all these different settings. So frame and fit, here are a couple different favorites. If I know I want to have this top left, I can go top left, different things. There's ones for the sound. I have my special one for sound effects, main. Those are just EQ settings, compressors, and different things. So these are all customizable. Color and effects, I have certain Color settings that I like to use: keys, spark green, wedding. So those are my favorites. Next, this is a clipboard. So in the clipboard I can copy. So whatever I highlight I can copy. And the cool thing about this is, and now I can paste, and I can decide at the top here what I want to actually paste. So I can paste the framing, the audio, or at least the audio settings, video settings, key settings, so I can paste those in. So if I'm doing a project and I know the color was off, like I did one at the beach and I made color adjustments. So rather than trying to make that as a favorite, only thing I did was find one clip, get it to the way I liked it to look, copied it, and then I went to the rest of the clips and I pasted it as just the color. Took a couple seconds. That saves so much time right there. Next part, this is a multi-select. So I hit that. You see this bar at the top? I can select how many clips I want, or I can select them individually. Scissors, that's your cut. It's non-destructive. What that basically means is you can cut here, you can cut here, take that out. And since it is non-destructive, I cut it out and say, oh, you know what? I want to put it back in there. I just have to drag it back open. And it's there. It's not permanent. These files stay on the iPad full length. Next one is the plus, and these are add to the clip. So for doing voiceovers, you just click on that, pulls up that little microphone down there, and then I can hit record. I can do overdubs. You have transition, so I know I'm gonna do a transition right here, and I hit the transition, and it will automatically default to that transition. Then I got blank clip. If I want to put a blank in there, and then you got your titles. So these are kind of like quick keys right there that I can just move fast. My trash can, it's the delete. Whatever's highlighted will be deleted. Next one, that's screen layout. So this is the layout I'm currently using. You have that one. So there's a couple different ones that you can use. Next one is your share. So you got a couple different ways to save it as a movie, audio only. I like to do that when I'm going to overdub. I'll do the overdub, cut everything together, save it as an audio only, then bring it back into the track. LumaFusion project package, that's really cool. So how I use that is I'll start editing on my phone, and then I'll export it as a LumaFusion project package to the iPad. And once it's on the iPad, it brings over all the files as I'm using them. Timeline, everything is transferred flawlessly. So I can start a project on one piece of equipment, transfer it to another, start on the phone, move it to the iPad, then put it back on the phone, and then put it back to the iPad. So that's the LumaFusion project package. XML project package, that is for Final Cut Pro. I'm starting with this, so it gives me more room to keep upgrading. I can keep growing with this and then tie it into another program. So moving forward, I could just say, okay, now I'm ready for Final Cut Pro, and I can transfer the projects to that. Snapshot basically allows me to save a snapshot. So that picture right there, saves it as a snapshot, throws it up into my photos. Next, these are your settings. You've got your different settings for frame rate. You can change the frame rate, your aspect ratio. You can even change the background color. Ducking, that's the part with the audio. The level of the music, your background music, when there are vocals on the main track, and then brings it back up to level. These are the adjustments for how fast, how much, and so forth. Preference, these are the default settings when you start a project. So I can set that up so every time I start a new project, it automatically goes to that. I typically don't have to touch the settings. Once I loaded it up, I left most of the settings default. Didn't need to touch them. Cleanup files you're using. So once I'm finished with a project, if I delete that project, I can have it clean up all the cache files or any of this, and I can set those all up. It shows me at the bottom how many gigs I'm using, and then you got your help. So that is LumaFusion. I can go more into detail of it, but this is why I use it. It starts off really basic and lets you just grow slowly. So that's why I used it. I found a lot of value in it. It's not a monthly subscription. It's a one-time buy and you get the updates. And they've just been adding different features, and they've got a couple planned for this year. So hopefully you found this useful. If you found it useful, found some value in it, please like, subscribe, and share this with some friends that might use this. If you got any questions, leave them down in the comments. I'll try to answer them. Remember, take care of each other. Peace out, and I'll see you all soon.